All right. Are we rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Okay. Welcome to No Pants Party, guys.
You didn't scream it.
Well, that's your job.
Should I do it?
Next time.
Okay. This is your episode, right?
This is... I will lead this episode.
Cool.
So...
It's that kind of theme this month, I guess.
Yeah, right? It's been a controversial opinion of mine recently about me wanting to lead. Somehow people are like, "Oh, like you think that you're better than other humans."
I know. Isn't that weird? Like you call yourself a leader and people automatically assume like, oh, they're an authoritative figure that's going to destroy the entire earth and all of its civilization.
So for the viewers, we did a podcast with the Tech Roast Show. If you guys don't know them, they're just the comedians in San Francisco.
They roast tech people in tech, pitches.
So we did an episode. We did their actually first podcast. I don't know if they will release it or not, but we kind of like went to...
The timeline they give us was like, oh yeah, anytime this year. So
yeah, anytime. But the point was like during the conversation, like I said that I'm an alpha, and it came out as something that is extremely rare.
Yeah, their brain automatically went like Hitler,
and
for some reason. Or no, Andrew Tate was a more
the first question they asked was about Andrew Tate, but I just don't know how to describe myself, especially in the state of mind that I am. Recently.
So like when I think of alpha, I think you're either alpha or you're beta, and it's like
there's another one that is called sigma.
Really? Okay, so you're either alpha or you're beta or sigma, but I've never heard of sigma. So like in my mind, I'm like alpha or beta, and like I see values to both sides, but like you are definitely an alpha, and it doesn't mean that you're exactly a replica of every alpha that's ever lived. It's more like you're an alpha because you go on your own tune. You like kind of, you have this mentality that is your own. And an alpha doesn't like follow, right? You lead.
Go on.
So
I like what you're saying.
Like, is this like when I'm complimenting you? Like
yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
I like that.
Also with like the dynamic of our relationship, they assumed that since you are identifying as an alpha, that I have to identify as beta. But I've heard a lot of couples that have alpha male, alpha female dynamics. So
do you
I don't know.
consider yourself an alpha female?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
sure,
I consider myself an alpha male at this point. Like
wow, that is some juicy
with
like
some like diversions, but I don't know. Yeah, I just like I don't identify a lot of my traits with like feminine traits for some reason. I don't know. Have
you always been this way?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's taken me a long time to just be comfortable with that, but like when I was younger, like it would be like all of these girls surrounded by like one baby and like obsessed with this baby, and I'm like, it's just a baby, like what's happening? Like why is everyone having a frenzy over this kid? It's not even your kid. And I think that's like the very big indicator that like my personality traits identified more with my dad when I was growing up, which gave me male traits, and those male traits then seeked out more male traits in my current environment, and I just grew with that, and I'm doing that again. So like my male traits that were older are now getting updated to new older male, like new male traits.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
I think this is kind of like interesting because I spent a lot of time with my mom growing up, and I do have a lot of understanding for women. Yeah. So it is a balance, I feel like you say this like on camera here and just like, oh, like you have more like masculine traits than feminine traits. Your feminine traits are like really well crafted. Like it's just well rounded. You have that side of you. When I see you like as like the submissive side, it's just it's just so like
it's like refined.
It is very well refined.
What would you say like a feminine trait that I have is like in daily life?
Like your voice.
Okay.
But when I say your voice, I don't really mean the tone of your voice. The way that you talk is very feminine.
Okay. Like the way that I think and translate it into words.
Yeah. So like your masculine side comes out when you're like 2 puffs of like weed and like 5. What the fuck was that? That freaked me out.
I think you got a notification on your laptop.
Sorry, guys.
You're supposed to put do not disturb, but okay.
I think it's not people. Maybe someone messaged me, but interesting. Like, okay, I'll check it later.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2 puffs of weed, 5 shots of like tequila, and you suddenly are like, Esmaeil, your problems are you. Just grow up. Just fucking grow up there.
Oh my God. So I'm internally a man, but my filters are feminine because society needs to accept me as female when they see me?
Sure. I think it is like that.
Oh my God.
And I think like you do have like a very well refined
I thought it would be the reverse. I thought I like put a front on as a man, but inside I'm a female. But I think it's the opposite, like you said. Like I think I've formed my personality around when I have interactions with people outside. It's very crafted in a way that I'm never going to offend them.
Yeah, you're the most considerate person I know.
Yeah, and that's very feminine.
How do you do that?
How do I do that?
Yeah.
It's a...
That is not like a backhanded question. It's genuine.
No, like I genuinely meet people with like acceptance of who they are, regardless of like who they are.
Okay, so please elaborate more. How do you meet people at the level that they are?
This is like so deep. Like this is automatic. Like I don't think about it.
No, I understand. Just
like I deeply rooted believe that everyone is equal.
Okay.
And everyone has their own journey and struggle and ideology, and like all of that is natural, and it's not my place to have an opinion about that.
That is very politically correct.
It's not.
Think about it for a second.
No, like when I get close to people and I see people doing actions that hurt themselves, then I get like, okay, stop fucking doing that, bro.
Okay, so like that is extreme.
Yeah.
Let's not go that deep. Let's stay on the surface level.
Yeah.
You met someone, you're at the bar, you're having a conversation with them.
Well, my filter is I meet people like that, but if they don't reciprocate that, I normally just back off and I'm kind of like, oh, you just snobbed me, so I don't care about you anymore.
Okay.
So like everyone that I see, I meet them in that reality that like, okay, we're all equal, we're all even, we all have our own journey, we all have our own path. There's no hierarchy here. And if they try to say, no, there is a hierarchy, I'm above you or I'm lower than you, I'm like, okay, I can't trust that you know what you're saying. I don't trust that we will form a connection, and I just give up and move on, and I don't put effort into the interaction.
Okay. So you genuinely believe when you meet someone initially, everything is equal?
Yes.
Is that really the case, you think?
No, a lot of people, like I think I'm suffering a lot from that actually, because a lot of people have a hierarchy in their brain when they see you. Like people, when they see me in SF, they see me as like a leftist right now, probably, because I have the past of like a leftist. But in reality, my brain has like updated, and like my body is updating to that, and like it's going to take time, and like my fashion sense is going to update to that. It's going to take like a progression. But like I don't judge people when I meet them based on like what they're looking like. I judge them based on like the way that they interact with me, right?
Yeah.
Who they are, like if they're able to have a deep conversation with me, if they're able to engage in a manner that is like civil.
Okay.
You know?
How's that going for you?
There are some people that are awake, and they also reciprocate that. Okay. But I think because it's very uncommon, they get uncomfortable and they kind of like shy away from me after, because they're like, this is a little bit unsettling. Like I'm not used to this. And it didn't used to be that way. It used to be like that person would see me as someone who would be a good friend, and we would form a long bond. but that's not happening anymore.
Like you would form a long bond immediately with the, like, do you have that capability inside of you when you see someone for the first time ever and you're looking at them and you're having a conversation with them, you form a bond that it will last and that person will be your friend at least for like a while?
Yeah. So, okay. When you have this approach, I genuinely do believe that the way that I approach these people, even if they don't show it or initiate it, they remember it and they favor that towards other interactions that they could have. So when I was little, like high school, college years, and I had this trait, people would recognize that as me being authentic, me being someone who would be a good friend, and they would continue the interactions because it was like we would constantly see each other because of like school and stuff and like responsibilities and stuff in life, that they would gravitate towards me and we would become close friends over time. But I do genuinely think that that was my power of gaining friends. Like,
interesting.
That was the only thing that I had that people wanted to connect with me, because it truly is like the deepest way to connect with someone.
Okay.
Right?
It not in my world.
Really?
I think I have to dom someone immediately, otherwise it will not become something that I would want to continue.
Whoa. Why? Why do you have to dom them?
I don't know. I just my personality trait.
That's interesting. Why, like, so you like operating under that hierarchy?
I am the hierarchy.
This doesn't make no, because when you met me, you equalized with me. That's not true.
Do you think that's the case?
Yes.
No, I think I dommed you the first two back and forth conversations we had.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
I think we are.
Like yes, when I'm meeting a man, I'm naturally submissive if I'm attracted to that man.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you immediately responded in the same way that I wanted you to respond to me. I went over the conversation the first second that we started talking to each other.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like I led the conversation the whole time, the first time that we met. And it started with me. Yeah,
no. There were traits in you that I was like, okay, he's intellectually ahead of me.
I'm not even talking about deep into the conversation.
What initially, are you talking about?
In the beginning, like when we started talking, I got you with doming you.
How? Can you explain the dynamics?
No. I have no idea. Absolutely not, because I'm fucking living with you.
Oh, so you're still doming me?
Duh.
Okay, so how does that work? Like, how is that successful in other relationships?
Well, it works with every relationship. If you dom a man or a woman, sorry guys, initially when you meet them, you kind of like have the power over the continuation of that relationship. So however it will form.
We talked to the Tech Roast show and we said we were 50-50, but when you say you're doming me, we're not 50-50 then. Right?
Well, I mean, we are 50-50, but you are completely in my world. You immersed into the world. I mean, that's not 100% true.
No, that's not true.
That's not 100% true.
I feel like with every decision that we make it with a discussion, not with like you say something and I do it.
I don't want to take it into every single decision in our life. I think we live a pretty equal life together. Okay. We were talking about initial conversations with people and initial like feeling that we give to other people, and that is the way that I operate. Like let me clarify something here. I do not have a tendency to dom people for the purpose of being a sadist or being someone who wants to inflict pain into people.
No, I know that obviously, but
no, I'm just trying to say that. But I just
like, I guess because I operate with that equalizer with you, and I feel like I would know if someone was trying to dom me. But you say you're trying to dom me, and I don't see that out of you.
You are building a tech company with me. What do you think I did?
Yeah, you convinced me. Like,
that is doming.
You intellectually like showed me the path that made the most sense for our life. That is
doming, guys. You can put a comment on
define
on
dom.
Our video.
Define a dom.
The dom is someone who would have the capabilities intellectually, physically, or sexually to make you submit to what they want you to do.
But that's more like I guess that's both. It's also an alpha, but
Wait, like, no, don't mix shit up.
They're the same.
They are completely the same, but I was just talking about doming. Like, being an alpha is a personality trait. Okay. Doming is the momentary thing that happens when you're interacting with someone else.
Okay, so besides our relationship.
Sure.
So I go into the public, okay? I go talk to people. And I go in with this equalizer mentality. Good for you. Do you think people define it as she's either a dom or a sub, or do they see it as an equalizer? What do they like? What is that impression giving off from other people?
You are pretty lovable by people. In every interaction that I've seen you having with people, I am the bad guy, you're the good person. And I feel like you do have this inherent like adorableness inside of you, like
adorableness.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't want to sound patronizing, but like it's something that you have inherently that when you talk to people, it is very pleasant. No one is trying to like mentally like or otherwise try to like.
No one wants to take over me.
Yeah,
because I show like innocence from a very beginning that I'm not gonna hurt you, so they. If they want to harm me, they should be pretty toxic.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. I have never seen someone trying to be mean to you.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Yeah. So like it's just it is a way that I have been trained to enter conversations with people. Initially when I was like smaller, like age-wise, I was more trying to win people over. When I was initiating a conversation or a friendship with them. That was a great way to expand your friendship a lot. But as a guy, as you get older, people expect you to exert more confidence and power. Because like we live in a world that guys need to take charge of shit. And if you don't do that, it is a sign of weakness. So if you want to really succeed in the things that you really are passionate about, you need to know when you're inserting yourself in any situation and you start any conversation with people, you look at that situation as you are going to be the alpha. You are going to dom the people around you. So because you obviously as a man, like I don't want to sound patriarchal again. I feel like when I say like
there's a lot of dom women like too.
Sure. Like it's a more like nowadays it's more of a social behavior rather than just like sexual like or like gender
it's like
trend.
You choose based on like who you are, not based on like your gender.
Exactly. So like I feel like at least like for people who are the alpha, they need to know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And what the fuck are you doing here if you don't know what you're up to? And if you know what you're up to, then dom me.
Okay.
Take what you want out of the situation.
I'm gonna get deep with this.
Let's go.
Okay. I'm going to tell you that I think, so I have an equalizer mentality with most people. But if I'm attracted to someone, I am submissive in the way that they would like to get what I want out of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
that does not make you a dom. If you ask that,
doesn't make you dom.
No.
But you're getting what you want. So what does that make you?
I don't know. That is a good question.
Because there are subs that just do it for the pleasure of feeling like loved.
I think like being a dom and a sub is not necessarily someone is giving, like there should not be anyone giving away something that they would want to have in order to be in dom or a sub.
Okay.
I think this is an exchange. Is like
it's just a dynamic.
Yeah, it's a dynamic. It's like if you look at the scale, both sides needs to equally be like level-headed. So like you see everything as equal.
Okay.
So like it will not work out if you don't get what you want as a, submissive person. You are being submissive to be given the things that you want.
Okay. And it's like that way worked for me more than other ways, and that's more my personality.
That is how women operate. That is how women, like majority of women think about how they should get the things that they want. This is not politically correct, but I don't give a fuck. I think it's pretty accurate, because if you look at the way that
women
evolved,
for like the first like a few years recently tried to not do that, and it's like they're losing the information that they had access to when they were being subs.
That is a really deep conversation. I don't even want it to, and that could be a whole nother podcast.
Okay.
You're completely right. I agree with you on that one.
I mean, we talked about dynamics for like 10 minutes. I think we could just make it this podcast.
I think this is something that, for me, at the experience that I had with women at work and flirting with them in society in general, going on dates, family members, like just observing women in general, I do not think that majority of the women want to lead. Majority of the women do not want to be in charge of everything at all times, and it's something that it is falsely acclaimed, proclaimed personality trait that a lot of people have, that good for them, it probably works pretty well for them, but it's not generalized as like women can do that, because I think there's biological reasons for that, societal reasons for that, evolutionary reasons for that.
Preference mostly, yeah.
There's a lot of things there, and I think we should stop. I think we stopped, at least at a high level society. I feel like we stopped. And I feel like it's just trickling down, that we're going to have a period of time very soon that the whole society will agree on, like, okay, like, I think we need to bring some gender norms, not everything. And I am not talking about toxicity. Look, you and I are in a very balanced relationship together. We fight.
Yeah.
But we also like really love each other. We are building something together. We go through the happiness and the pain of that.
Yeah, like, and it's, for the most part, like, so we both have been responsible for making money. We both have been responsible for house chores, even though you've probably carried the majority of that. I've carried more emotional labor than you, but it still hasn't been 100% everything. And we both like listen and learn from each other. So it's not like a toxic, like, okay, you're a man, this is your field, I'm a woman, this is my field.
Yeah, this is like, we live in 2024, guys. Yeah. Like, this is not, we don't talk about 1950s. We are talking about today's world of healthy gender role dynamics. And if our kids are watching this in 30 years from now and they're like, fuck, that is so bad, I'm gonna be like, you know what, like, that was what it was, the coolest thing at our time.
Yeah, and that's what we could have at that time.
I don't think even in 30 years there will be a lot of men like me. I'm sorry, I want to brag a little bit about myself. Oh, like,
you're in an arrogant mood tonight.
I am in a very happy mood tonight. Thank you for acknowledging that. There will not be a lot of men like me to build something that meaningful and deep with a woman, to trust a woman to build something that deep and meaningful.
So I do have a question about that. So you decided to start a company with a woman.
Do you want to like switch the conversation towards Mellow?
I do. It's not about Mellow, but I do have a question.
Okay, sure.
It's very related. I explained the way that I approach things. With that method, do you think that I can be a strong, successful co-founder with that method?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. So you don't have to be a dom to run a company.
You are an alpha. Look, dom and sub is like a bipolar situation that happens between two entities. Okay. When you are against the world, you can be the dom against the world if you look at it like that. But in general, you're the alpha. Okay. So when you're the alpha, you can totally lead what you want to build.
Okay. Cool. That's what I wanted answered.
I'm happy that I answered that for you.
Anyway,
I do not doubt in your capabilities of being an extraordinary human being, and I think that's all it takes to be a successful leader in the tech world.
Okay. Yeah, I like my method. I like the way that I'm acting, and I feel like I, for a few years, didn't have the right to do that. Like, there was this pressure on me as a woman to be like very assertive, unnaturally, and I don't like being mean to guys, you know?
Are you mean to guys?
No, but it was like...
You're never mean to me.
You should have to do that. Like, that was like a requirement for women to just be mean to guys or be like not interested in them in any way, even friendship, it felt like that was like the appropriate thing to do. And I got a lot of backlash from my friends when I got married at a time when it was like uncool to even have a boyfriend. Like most girls were interested in dating other women.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like bragging a little bit too. I'm ahead of the trends. Like I have also like dated other women, and it's like, okay, I found my sexuality at a young age, like very young. Like I think I learned my sexuality at 17, right when I started having sex, and I understood who I was, and that has not changed based on the trend of society.
Yeah.
Which is like I like manipulating men with sex. Like it's fun.
I hear you. There is like,
cool.
Yes. Do you
have agreement?
Do you have anything to add on to the last part?
What would you like me to add? What do you mean?
Nothing. Never mind. Let's move on from this one. You mentioned something about being like trying to lead, being in tech, being a co-founder, all of these things. So you have been helping me actually with the tech side of Mello recently.
Okay.
So for the people that don't know, there's a trend in AI that is happening that is called prompt engineering. And that happens with natural language, obviously. And we're trying to define how Mello is going to just kind of like think in some ways. Do you want to talk about your experience with that? Because there's a lot of interesting things that has been happening between you and me working on that subject. And I kind of like didn't want to diverge too far away from the fact that we were talking about Mello. I feel like you have been doing something about that. And I want to know like your thoughts about prompt engineering, I guess.
Sure. I mean, okay, so like basically that's a really, really complicated term, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that, but basically it's just like if you go on ChatGPT and you need something like write me this essay or like give me this code to build this product, you're just writing to the robot what you exactly want it to do.
I did a terrible intro to this subject. I'm sorry. I didn't really want you to go back.
I'm already like better at this now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically just like your ability to write instructions to a robot is prompt engineering. Okay. But I've realized that, so there is an art to that, but further than that, there's a skill that you need to have two things. You need to access people who have better codes than you to replicate your codes in the way that you want. And to have that access, you need to know the players. You need to know who's doing what in your realm.
Sure.
And a lot of things are open source, so they give you those references. Okay?
But how does
That's
it feel?
A skill.
How does it feel as like someone who hasn't been in tech for that long, and you haven't had any experience to talk to like technical like systems?
It's okay. This is gonna piss off a lot of tech people.
Here we go.
The journalism skills that I have from my careers earlier are 100% applicable to this. Way more than someone who studied math and stuff.
Skills, what is it? Is it like you're good at literature, you're good at grammar, you're good at writing concise sentences, you're good at interpreting human emotion and writing it in like words?
No, none of that. You know trends.
Thank you for like...
You know trends?
I do.
You know... No, I'm talking about journalists.
Oh.
You know trends.
Oh, as a journalist,
you know
people,
trends. You know how to find those people. You know how to talk to those people. You know how to get information out of those people. And you replicate it to a concise way that you 100% understand it, synthesize it, and then you do it yourself and you put it out there.
So I feel like there's a lot of bias in journalism. So do you think there's a lot of bias in systems, the AI systems that do exist out right now?
100%. Mm-hmm. Worse.
Why worse?
Because you're using super intelligence.
Okay. I get that.
It's not humans gossiping anymore. It's like robots
because
that have the potential to do a lot with their knowledge.
Nothing will. I was just like, nothing will be worse than like journalism in today's world. No offense to you. It feels super biased right now.
You know why journalism got so bad?
What is the reason?
We have technology to gain knowledge so much that journalism became dumb. And AI is smart, and we're headed towards that direction, that hearing humans talk about knowledge and synthesize knowledge was dumb.
Sure. But I think AI in a lot of ways is that journalist. AI does not have like access to real-time data yet. It will get there.
Yeah.
Like none of these AI systems. And it's kind of like reading from books that it's been fed. And I feel like it's just gonna take some time for us to get there. But once we get there, it will be the best journalist. Correct. In the sense that it will give you the answer that you want from the moment.
There will still be a special amount of people that will use AI, but they will have a human side to it, that it will be good journalism.
No, interpretation of human events in real time is different than the news.
Well, that will be the skill.
The fact that the temperature of Earth got like increased or decreased by like, I don't know, half a Fahrenheit is something that a lot of news anchors do manipulate that news when they're delivering that to you. I'm just talking about some basic truth.
You don't need to tell me about news manipulation.
No, I know you know pretty well.
Okay, so this is a better example. So as a young person who had access to the internet from a very young age all the time, I'm a cyborg, okay? Working with someone who didn't grow up with that, like maybe they were Gen X. Their mentality was you have to be precise about like where you get your facts from. They have to be in an organized way based on this criteria. It was very like systematic, to the point that I was like, okay, humans, like my young brain is like, humans can't be this systematic. There's going to be errors. We should get rid of this systematic approach and talk from the heart about what we're experiencing based on who we talk to and the research that we've done. So all of my news stories are like talking from the heart based on like my reality and the facts that I consume and the people that I talk to, that is real time.
Yeah.
And that was always like a hard like battle for me, because there was a lot of people that were like, oh, you should have no bias, you should only talk from facts. But I knew from like a very young age that facts don't exist. Like we have human experience, and the experience is different for every person.
Sure.
And the people who want to read my work are people who have similar human experiences to me, right? Or they believe in that experience and they want that for themselves.
But in that case, it was not true, right? In that case, you were serving newspaper readers. Newspaper readers are generally the group of people who are 70 above.
That's so harsh.
I'm sorry.
That wasn't my reality. It was probably in that time, it was like 40 and above. And that town was old, so it was even younger. And I did interview a lot of young people. I think you're too much in the future when you say that, but yeah, okay. San Francisco maybe, but people in San Francisco still read the news.
My parents are in their 50s, and they live in Iran. I have never seen them pick up a newspaper in their whole life.
Your parents are a special case?
I don't think so. I absolutely don't think so.
Okay, well, sure. Why do you think so many people create Substacks though?
Oh, okay. So that is a great question. Why do you think people still tweet?
Those are different.
No.
So tweeting a social media Substack is like writing your thoughts down.
I think Substacks are long form tweets, okay? And I think Substacks got really popular because people on Twitter wanted to talk about the things that were happening in their brain. And they got the rate limited with Twitter, and no one wants to read a whole ass article about your thoughts on the I don't know, intersection of like communism and I don't know, like, you know, healthcare, like tech.
That's the point though. They're doing the job. They're writing op-eds in a creative way. Okay, it's journalism.
Sorry, what is op-eds?
Opinion edition.
Wow.
Like an opinion piece in a newspaper.
I got educated by you.
Yeah, I know everything about media.
I feel less of an alpha right now.
You're trying to dom me in my field.
Good point. Proceed.
Okay, so what was the point of this?
The point was like we got spiraled out of fucking like prompt engineering.
Yeah, okay. Prompt engineering is like journalism, okay?
Sorry, can I say one thing here? You talking about like your experience with journalism, there's so many questions in my head, but please go back to the prompt engineering.
What are your questions?
I do want to have a conversation about your time as a journalist sometime. Like we probably should have a podcast about that. But I just had to say that out loud because I feel like it's just your experience as a journalist is something that is so surreal that when you
specifically at this time, it's so surreal.
I feel like every time that you talk about your experience as a journalist, you open new doors to me that I'm like, wow, I have never thought that the world could be like seen that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, every field is like that, I would say.
No, of course not. Like, have you seen like physicists and like marine biologists? Like,
yeah, they live in fact. Okay, right. So like journalism on the spectrum.
Sure.
No, you don't think so? Like, no. Do you believe that like there's no fact ever in
No,
reality?
I do believe there are facts.
Okay. So like a scientist is more likely to live in the reality that there are facts than a journalist, because a journalist understands that yes, there are hard facts. Like a hard fact would be that the daylight will always be here. Like we always have like
that was
daylight.
A great example.
Was it? Like
no, I am being fucking sarcastic. So
I don't know. Give me a fact. Like
the temperature of the surface of the sun.
Okay, why would a journalist write about that?
I can assure you that there are a lot of
unless it changed. Like
there's sometimes there are coronas that they're trying to like talk about. Oh, guys, like there will be like some like solar waves coming towards Earth.
My point is that journalists write from a political point of view, where politics is never fact. There's never like, this is the only proper way to run a system. This is the only proper way to run a country. Okay? And through that, we should understand in our reality that there's no facts in that ever-changing kind of landscape.
JFK's murder was a psyop. Just that is a fact. Sorry.
If it was a fact,
it was an insider job. That is a fact.
Guess what?
Oh my God, that is hard. I don't know what journalists think about facts.
No, the journalists who spew like real facts like that get killed.
Ooh, that is very true. I like that.
Anyway, we got sidetracked. Prompt engineering. Okay.
Prompt engineering, guys.
So I see it like that. I see it as, okay, identify the key players, learn their code, replicate their code, put it into the system that you're trying to create, and tweak it a little bit, and talk to the system that you're using, like ChatGPT or Anthropic or whatever, to Claude, to like kind of get it to be as close to the
what you want it to be.
Yeah, what you want it to be. That is the writing of our time.
Ah, okay.
So we used to like write with words. People are still writing with words.
This is words. This is still natural language.
It's still natural language, but we're writing to robots. We're not writing to each other.
Yeah.
To create things that are bigger.
Do you want me to make it a little bit abstract?
Yeah.
We are talking to each other's past. meaning we're talking to collective human knowledge that has been fed to that AI system, to that 500 lines of code.
Whoa.
That we're talking to the past of humanity. We're talking to the past of humanity and we're like, forefathers, please give us your wisdom and provide us.
This is like the book The Giver, where like there's one person in the society that holds all of the knowledge of the history of time, and like they're just in pain and they have to pass that knowledge to the next generation. Oh my god,
that is very bad way of what did you like? Okay, guys, her references are so diesel. I'm sorry about
I think there's plenty of accelerators that would know The Giver and think that that was the AI of its time. Okay,
so I will read that book so we can have a conversation about it.
Watch the movie. It's like 2 hours.
There's a movie?
Yeah.
We totally should. I had no idea.
Yeah, this is something we had to like read and watch in grade school.
Wow. Cool.
Anyway,
so just wrap it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about prompt engineering for that long. I just thought that it would be a good segue. So how much of a pain you're experiencing by prompt engineering right now? Long pause. too traumatic. Okay,
so I would say
you're never supposed to look into my camera.
I am looking in the room. Just calm down. Sure. It's painful when you can't get it to do what you want, but because you are like more technical, you have been doing that journey a lot more than me. I haven't been in that realm as much. So I would say it hasn't been that difficult, because when you see your code work to do what you want it to do, which like mostly you have done that, but I've helped you get to that point, it's way more gratifying than anything else.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
because you're like manipulating the world.
I think a prompt engineering should be called an art.
Sorcery.
It is
witchcraft.
Yeah, it's kind of like a very you enter like another, like you enter
it's
nirvana.
So mind opening. I can't go back to the old world once I do that. I understand why people are like.
Do you remember the moment that we fed our photos to the system about our podcast, and it gave us description of who we are without saying
so crazy.
Any words?
It got us to the T, like better than I could describe us.
Guys, Mello is gonna be super cool. I'm not promoting Mello.
You're promoting Mello.
I am saying this gonna be super cool, and the Pandora's box is out, so
okay,
watch it out for.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be really cool though, and I thought with this process entering the tech world, I would hate it a lot more. I don't think we're doing things in the way that most tech people are doing things. There's like two sections of tech people. There's a section that we're trying to enter that are like super fucking cool, and they're just doing random weird cool things with their mind, but using tech to create it. And I love those people and I want to meet those people. Then there are people who are told, okay, you worked at this company, you have this knowledge, you know how to do this, and
build a security camera that is ran by an AI.
Yeah.
Literally build a surveillance tool for us that is ran by an AI.
Yeah. And that those people scare me because they don't question what they're doing. They're just like doing it.
Why
and they're
should
just
they
like
question?
They're like, oh, this will make me money, so I will do this. And they're not like, oh, what result will this have, or what outcome will this have on the world? Do I care about what I'm doing? Is what I'm going to do useful or helpful, or going to change the course of like the way that people think? Like, I don't know. I just don't understand people like that. I never have. And AI in tech didn't change anything, but I think there's a lot of people, D-cells, that hate tech people, and it's because of that.
So to that, I have one comment. to the camera, to the security camera that is installed by the government and is looking at me every fucking day. Please tell me what color I'm wearing every single day that I go out of my fucking house, so I know my style and I would make it better. Thank you.
It's unnecessary. Like, what is that?
No, I'm pretty sure there will be, like, I am seeing many.
That's so 2000s too. Like, we've conquered that already.
Bro, one of the YC companies right now is like recognizing if a woman is picking up nuts or the banana.
In the grocery store.
In the groceries. And I'm like, this is such a good government surveillance tool that they're going to use it on every corner of the street, and they're going to be like, Esmaeil went out today with a yellow shirt. Esmaeil went out today with like a stripe pattern.
Okay,
So the Patagonia.
So let's talk about the list of YC companies, because I do
not want to talk about them right now because I'm in such a good mood. If I get to talk about those fucking bullshit companies that are getting funding, I will be so pissed. And I will just smash this microphone to the ground.
Okay, I don't want you. Well, that's not that expensive, but I want to talk about. Why can't we talk about them?
I don't literally mean to break this, but
okay.
What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about last weekend. We wanted to go to fucking Texas and we couldn't. And I want to tell people why.
This is an embarrassing story.
It's not an embarrassing at all. Okay, guys. We are living a very busy life. And what happened was...
Busy in the sense that we're just trying to build Mellow 24/7.
Okay, I don't want to go... So here's the thing. We're building Mellow 24/7, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to go to the detail. I want to talk about commercial flights.
Okay.
I want to talk about the fact...
Okay. So, sorry, just to clarify. YC companies made you so mad... But you want to talk about commercial flights? What the actual fuck?
Yeah, that is a very good point.
Okay, go on. That's fine. But just, that was a funny contrast.
I just didn't want to bore our I want to give a little bit of dose of like tech every podcast to tease people, but I don't want people to zone out because we're talking about tech.
Okay, let's talk about commercial flights.
Yeah, we will talk. I will put that on a note that we will talk about the YC batch of. Is it the winter of 2024 or summer?
Well, but we should talk about it now because it's popular now and it won't be popular in a week.
All right then, guys, we're talking about YC fucking 2024.
Do you see
winter
how I
batch.
domed him right there?
Sure, honey.
Using a sub tactic.
No, you
okay,
you
really
made
brief,
a very good
really
point.
short. I'm just gonna say this really in a small amount of time. Everyone is building a tool to generate like content that is not human, and I don't understand what the obsession people have with like AI replicating our voice or replicating our image. Like, why is that every single company right now? Why are we obsessed with that? And you said something really interesting that I really agree with. And it's like, oh, they're hiding in creative fields to not show a threat to society, but government will use those things against us.
I think not all of that is going to be used by government, but government is also going to use them, which is unfortunately a problem. Because we don't want to live in a 24/7 surveilled society, and 24/7 surveilled society is absolutely possible with AI.
Yeah.
Because you can't put like a police, a man, a spy in every house, in every corner of the street, in every place.
Yeah.
Because like humans, first of all, humans have conscience. Humans have limited amount of time. Humans cannot be up 24/7. There's so many things about that.
Yeah.
But when you have an AI, there is no limit to that.
Yeah, you can train it to think in the way that you want it to think without even you yourself thinking about it.
Thank you. That is exactly the point. And the most absurd thing is while all of these AI tools are on the rise, the federal government comes in and says, you know what, guys, we should make US dollar a digital coin. So like you want to tie my social security to a fucking like AI system so you can tell me how much I can use my money and when I can and cannot use my money. This is a recipe for disaster for the future. I don't want to sound like someone who's like so bitter.
You're very pro AI.
I love AI. I support a lot of AI generated content. Like I do see a lot of potential in using AI generated content for podcasting for people who have social anxieties, for people who actually want to talk about topics that are anti-system and they do not want to sit in front of a camera because the things that they're saying, they don't want to appear as who they are.
Yeah, they want to be anonymous, but the message needs to get out.
But the message is more appealing if it has a face and a voice on it.
Yes.
Okay. All of these things, there's a lot of beautiful things that will happen.
I think we will use Mello, specifically empowering those people.
For sure.
Like to be anonymous.
That is one of my dreams.
We will have generated content on our
that platform. Is my dream. But it's overall.
It's too much.
Is something that, look, it's cute. But when it enters the creepy realm, I'm a little bit like, okay, guys, like, make sure that, I mean, this is already happening. The problem with tech here is I kind of like compare tech to rock music. Rock music in the 60s and 70s was actually an anti-government, pro-humans movement that happened. And the goal of that was to liberate human beings. Yeah. And the equivalent of that was tech in the 2000s. Internet.com, all of those things were enabling people sharing information with each other without having a problem of government knowing how to control them. But exactly like what rock music turned into in the 90s and 2000s, that you would see TV shows that there were rock stars. Like I was watching a TV show, like I think it was the One Tree Hill. Sorry. And Fall Out Boys were playing in that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this was a TV show that, I mean, it's a national TV that is like broadcasting this. And there's a band that is a famous rock band. And I feel like, okay, like you're nothing like, I don't know, like my comparison to the rock music is just like Nirvana, for example. Like you're nothing like them. You're nothing like Beatles. You're nothing like, you know.
Okay, so my music knowledge will come in here and say that even though the values that Fall Out Boy had and presented to the society at the time were not maybe as influential as like John Lennon or like the Beatles, for that time period specifically, Fall Out Boy was promoting a different ideology than what was the current trend. And I think it created a lot of like men that felt like they could be more feminine.
So that's the point. So see, I get what you're saying here, but not all, like you can't say anti-grain movements at all times are a positive thing.
Okay,
No.
I listened to Fall Out Boy when I was younger, and like their music was good.
Of course you'd like them. You're a girl from California.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't say the same about Taylor Swift because I do believe like she's working with the system.
Okay, yes, she is a psyop. What's next?
But like that's what you're trying to say about Fall Out Boy, and I'm like, you're incorrect completely.
If you appear on national TV, you're not my friend. Period.
Okay. Play this clip when he goes on national TV.
Please don't. You will be my friend if you don't.
Okay.
But what I was going to go with that example, which you tore it apart, I wanted to say the rock in the 60s and 70s was totally different than the rock in the 2000s. And it completely feels like tech in the 2000s is having the rock in the 2000s in the 2020s, which is the tech in the 2020s is completely fucking ridiculously supported by the government.
Yeah. The government learns.
Exactly. That's the point. It's like the government learned how to enter the point that a lot of people saw as a human, and they entered the rock music and they were like, guys, we make rock music, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like tech right now as well. It's the tech that, not all of the tech. I have seen, again, this is like multiple times I've seen I said,
there's two sides.
There are two sides. And I'm always on the side that is like, okay, try to be genuine and try to do some good for the humanity, period. Let's put a pin on it. Go back to the YC thing if you want to wrap it up, if you have anything else to say.
That was all. I was just like, there's too many generative AI tools that are focused on replicating tasks that humans can do in a way that is not really going to serve humanity for a positive. We're making like a recommendation algorithm. Like, I feel like that's much more influential for human life than like, oh, you don't have to sit in front of a camera.
I mean, recommendation algorithm is part of the ecosystem that we're creating. The whole ecosystem is designed to make human beings sit in front of each other and have a conversation that is genuine with each other.
Exactly. It's trying to glue the society back together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the recommendation algorithm is only to the point to allow people to find what is suitable for them as how they would feel like receiving an information and or like watch a podcast for themselves.
All right. Commercial flights. You have 5 minutes.
Commercial flights. Please do something about them. I think there's a lot of problems in that. And I do not want to fly commercially anytime soon, even though
we're traumatized.
We have to. That was a really bad experience. It almost felt like that I went to a bus terminal and I was at the fucking SFO, and it does not make any sense. Okay? And for whoever cares, don't fly American Airlines. Yeah. Just don't do that.
Never ever in your life. Alaska is the only good airline that exists.
We are not sponsored by Alaska, but at least among the shitty commercial flights, I don't even want to say Alaska. Fuck all of them.
Okay.
Just get rich and just fly private, dude.
Yeah, but that's not accessible to like even us. Like,
I know. Aspiring like private jet flyer.
So what is it about commercial flights that's so horrible?
The people who work. Like, everyone is a liar. We were trying to get people to help us. Oh my God,
I felt like I wasn't a human. When I talked to them, they treated me like I was a dog.
That is very true.
It was horrible.
I'm sorry, are you okay?
No, I'm traumatized. I've never seen a human look me in the eyes that pathetically. Like, seeing me as that pathetic.
Yeah, I know.
They have so much ego for no reason. Like,
that was a very bad experience.
It was horrible.
And yeah, I mean, you don't have to travel that much. There's nothing that much happening in the world, like, anyway. Just
live in a place that is good.
Yeah. Move to a place that you feel good. Like, okay, this is a really great point. We live in San Francisco. Yeah. The last time we traveled was probably a year ago. We have not seen commercial airports or commercial flights downgrading. I have seen a lot of funny memes on Twitter that, oh my God, these Boeing like airplanes have like loose bolts, and they have like there's an engine on fire, and they had to make like a emergency landing. And I was like, it sounds ridiculous, but it feels blown out of proportion. And I went to the airport and I was like, okay, look, dude, these people, they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing.
Okay, I have a genius idea. Speaking of AI that will actually benefit people, if someone's flight is canceled or someone misses their flight or anything happens to their flight or it's delayed and they're going to miss another flight, that system needs AI.
I agree with you.
Humans are not capable of helping in any sense. They're just going to yell at you, and it's traumatizing. So please, someone, for the love of God, can you build an AI system for airline flights? That's all.
I think I've heard of that. I think it's the Heathrow, the London airport.
Of course, London would do something like that.
Or, yeah. So okay. So what's happening is, they're renting out the airport to the Saudi kings.
I don't like where this is going.
I am not joking. They're renting out Heathrow.
Why? In what world did like Saudi kings like get all of the AI access? Like, how did that happen?
We should have a podcast with Sam Altman to ask him that. He's probably in a conversation with them.
My God.
But they are actually going to implement AI into Heathrow. I don't know why I'm like promoting that. I am not promoting that.
Okay,
I'm just.
It's fine.
It was a news.
Don't be so harsh on yourself.
Thanks. That meant a lot. They are going to implement AI. The check-in will be with AI.
Hopefully it's successful and it will spread to SFO, because the last time that I flew SFO, besides that time, it was really beautiful. I really loved SFO. Like, I felt really happy going on
I never had
flights.
a good experience. So my
okay, just rain on my parade.
It's already raining. I wanted to say that I am happy for you that you had good experience at SFO. I fucking hate SFO.
Yeah.
The first ever time that I went to SFO, I was flying to New York. It was Christmas time. It was 2 hours long. It was 2018. 2 hours long wait to get to the gate. Mm-hmm. Okay. I got to the gate. No one told. I'm from a country that we have 2 security checks at the airport. There is no 2 security checks in United States. There's 1 security check. I went through one. They took every liquid and everything, like a cologne and all of my hygiene products out of my carry-on, because they were like, this is not possible. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you can check in this bag, you can go back and you can check in this bag, or we just take everything out. And I looked into their eyes and I was like, my option is 2 hours waiting in this line, or just giving away all of my like personal hygiene products. And I had to make that decision. I was just like, take everything. I'm not just going back, because I don't want to miss my flight.
That's your personality. You're like, you always save time over anything else.
Yeah. I was like, no fucking way. I'm not doing that.
That's a good rule to live by, that you just always have that in your
I
mind.
always have that.
Yeah.
There's nothing there's no.
You'll never spend too much time on anything.
Yeah. I don't think human beings should do that.
Yeah.
Especially things like waiting in line. I grew up in a country that like sometimes you had to wait in line to get bread. I'm not joking.
What, like from a baker?
Yeah. Like there would always be a line to get bread from the baker. Like the bakeries, you have to stand in line. And there was 2 lines. There was 1 line for like multiple breads. That sounds kind of
luxurious to an American, because we don't really have like fresh bread like that.
That did not sound luxurious when you had to stand on the line for it.
I would wait in line for good bread.
It's not necessarily a good bread every time, but it's a fresh bread. Do you know what
I grew up on? Sliced bread.
Yeah, American food is
pathetic. From a plastic bag.
Yeah. American food
every day a sandwich.
American food sometimes doesn't taste like food.
Yeah, I consumed cancer for 22 years.
Yet you're gonna live longer than me. This is gonna be the proof.
This is the proof. Yeah, I do think I'll live longer than you, but it's mostly genes and yeah.
You have fucking good genes.
My grandma's gonna make it to 100. I already have one great grandfather that made it to 100. Most of my grandparents are still alive, except for my 2 grandfathers.
I have no grandparents alive.
They died in 80s, 90s. Like, it's pretty. I don't think I've had a single family member in like 3 generations that died under like 75.
Yeah, that is privilege wrapped. All right, guys. Well, this already was a brilliant, amazing podcast.
Yeah.
I think we have not covered everything that we want to talk about, but I kind of like.
It was good.
It's Friday night.
Let's close the loop.
I want to go out. I want to party. I want to get drunk.
Let's close the loop. Dom and sub. Final thoughts.
I'm a dom.
You're a dom. What the fuck is a dom?
It's like dom majority of the time, but not giving a fuck. I'm not a sub. I'm never a sub. I'm just joking. Go on.
I can say that you've never been a sub with me.
Yeah, I can. That would be that would be the last day of my life.
You're that opposed.
Not opposed. I think that is so against who I am.
Yeah.
I am not. Again, I don't think I'm 100% dom, but I never want to explore that side of being a sub.
Really?
I don't.
Ever?
Never.
So even if it wasn't me, if it was someone else, you would never want to be a sub?
No, I have been in a relationship with someone who was older than me, and I domed her as well.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes people who have this kink of like, I want to be like, I do have this fetish to be that I want to be with older women. Mm-hmm. But in that scenario, I'm doming them. I don't want to be a sub to them. I don't want them to order me around. You know, I don't want them to control my sexual.
You like to be in control 100% of the time in
always.
Your life. Okay.
Like you're going nuts living with me because of that. Obviously, you're like, you see me building mellow.
Why do you say I'm going? Because I can't control you.
No, because you are an American, that you have your own autonomy, and no one has ever been this dom over you.
So even like American boy doms would be less dom than you.
American boy doms are sobs to me.
Okay, that's the quote I wanted to end the podcast on. You hear that, white boys? That must mean that I'm the ultimate sub.
You are, actually. There are few, like, you are a very good sub as well.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to us.